In this video, I quickly compare the MacBook Pro M2 versus the MacBook Air M2 and which one is the best for you. Quick disclaimer before we get started, I haven't demoed or touched or tried the MacBook Air M2, and I'm basing my opinions on the Apple event and the Apple website. I have had the opportunity to use and try this MacBook Pro 13 M2, and I've used older models of the MacBook Air, including the M1 variant. I thought this would be a much longer comparison, and looking at everyday use, working from home, it became very obvious for me which was the better choice. I'm not going to go into detail the spec for spec side-by-side comparison, as they honestly roughly are the same. The differences and upgrades will be my main focus. Looking at the MacBook Pro M2 and the MacBook Air M2, they are roughly the same size and have a similar form factor. With the M2 chip, the internals will be very similar and price points will vary with additional upgrades to the SSD and the RAM. That being said, the MacBook Air M2 is cheaper when you compare base model to base model. The added price to the MacBook Pro might be because of the 10-core GPU versus the 8-core GPU in the MacBook Air, and the MacBook Pro M2 does have a built-in fan to keep the chipset cool when taxed or pushed to the limit. Here is where it gets interesting. The MacBook Pro uses the same chassis as last year's model M1 with no noticeable changes except that M2 chip. It still has the same two Thunderbolt ports and the 3.5mm jack in the identical positions as last year. No change to the 13.3-inch Retina display, and it still has a 720p FaceTime camera. In addition, love it or hate it, the MacBook Pro 13 retains the Touch Bar. The MacBook Air, on the other hand, has had a complete facelift with added upgrades with MagSafe, a 13.6-inch Liquid Retina display, upgraded 1080p FaceTime HD camera, and upgraded 4-speaker sound with Dolby Atmos and spatial audio support. And that beautiful screen also has the similar notch that we see in the MacBook Pro 14 and 16-inch models from last year. Now, unless one of these two MacBooks is going to be your main computer and you plan on doing a lot of video and photo editing, both will perform pretty similar for everyday tasks. In my opinion, if I was looking at either options, especially looking at the base model offerings and not hell-bent on the Pro label, I would choose the MacBook Air. The color options aren't a big deal for me, personally. And I would most likely go with the space gray, or if I was feeling adventurous, I would consider getting midnight. The combination of MagSafe, slightly larger display with Liquid Retina display, the 1080p FaceTime HD camera, and the M2 chip, I feel like it's a no-brainer. Doing this comparison, yes, I am in the same boat as to why the MacBook Pro 13 M2 even exists. Is the MacBook Pro 13 M2 a solid MacBook? Yes. Is the MacBook Pro still delivering in performance? Yes. Now, if the MacBook Air M2 used the same chassis as last year and didn't have that Liquid Retina display or didn't upgrade the FaceTime camera, it would be a harder decision. That Pro name alone would most likely sway me. With the current offerings between these two MacBooks, I personally would jump on the MacBook Air M2. Mind you, I trust Apple will sell a boatload of this MacBook Pro 13 M2 because it still offers a Pro laptop at an affordable price that is still cheaper than the 14 and 16-inch offerings. I could see the MacBook Pro 13 selling very well to their enterprise markets. For everyday consumers, the MacBook Air M2, I think, is the better choice for everyday tasks, even with mild video and photo editing. Yes, the MacBook Pro M2 will perform slightly better in the video and photo editing department. And if that was going to be your main use, I would seriously consider looking at the MacBook Pro 14 and 16-inch models with the M1 Pro or M1 Max chipsets. Found value in this video? You know what to do. If you like videos like this one, consider watching one or both of these videos here. Be safe, stay awesome, and I'll catch you in the next one.